All right, so uh, how you doing? You're doing good.
I'm doing great. I'm doing
You're doing
great.
good. Awesome. I was
Doing
like, I
good.
was waiting for that response. But so this is our episode.
I'm super excited. Super
First
excited.
episode. We've been in the talks for this for a while. I've had this on my mind, and finally it is now. And people are probably watching like, it's the first episode. Of what?
Yeah.
And so,
Shout out to
so
the people that
I'm
helped us get here. You know.
absolutely, absolutely. So this is the first episode. You will see many other like it, but none like this one because this is the pilot episode. Pilot episodes are always the best episodes. So this is Preacher's Corner. Preacher's Corner, and so I'll explain why it's called Preacher's Corner in a little bit. For those of you who already know me, you know why it's called Preacher's Corner. Because I am preacher, and it's not a corner; it's a room. And
Pretty much.
it says Jesus loves you back there. Uh, but it's Preacher's Corner because I am preacher. This is my little corner of the building I'm at. But yeah, so this is a podcast. We're going to be talking about addiction. Um, I am about 138 days right now clean. So we'll be talking about addiction. My friend over here, Scorpio, he'll explain who he is soon. Uh, he's in recovery. He's clean right now too. And so this is really going to be about addiction recovery because that's what we're in right now, and then
Definitely.
mental health because mental health on both men and women's side. We'll have some guests in the coming weeks on mental health, things like that. So we're addiction, recovery, mental health for really everybody across the board. Everybody, regardless of who you are, where you're from, what status in life you are, everybody deals with mental health at one point in time. And so we'll be talking about that. But before we go any further, like we can't do each of these episodes and they not know who we are.
Of course not.
So I've been talking for a little bit. Let's give the floor over to my co-host, co-anchor
Oh
of
boy.
sorts,
Oh
co-anchor of
boy.
sorts.
Oh
Uh,
boy.
you want to let them know who you are, what brought you here. Give us like the 5 to 10 minute version. Take it away.
5 to 10 minutes. Jesus, that's not enough time. But all right. So my name is Scorpio, but my real name is Kyle. And let's see. I'm from Southside Jamaica, Queens. Um, I'm a recovering addict. I am now celebrating what my three and change right now. We are going what four?
You're like
My
you're like a
my.
month. You're like a month behind me.
For real, man. I didn't even, and it's like it's crazy. It's going pretty by pretty fast. I think I'm celebrating what my celebration's coming up pretty soon. Actually, celebrating my 4 months in a couple of days. So big
So I
accomplishment. But
am. What's today? What's today? The
today
25th.
is the 25th, baby.
So I am 135 days. 135
Yeah,
days.
boy.
So that puts you right about the
Yes,
that
sir.
4 month mark.
I am excited. I am excited. It's a hard road, but it is so much worth it. I met you through addiction. You know what I mean? And it's funny. You don't think to meet your friends through addiction. Not close friends like that. And I met my
Especially
brother
with how
through
we left.
addiction.
Especially with how
Yeah,
it was left. I'll
exactly.
explain that.
Yeah. You we'll explain that later though. But you never think to meet your brother in addiction, and now I can honestly say I have family, and I'm proud about that, and now we're both doing sobriety. It's amazing to me, but I started out a regular kid. I started out a part of the football team at varsity my whole life coming up. I was, fairly okay in high school until I, did the whole rebel thing, smoking weed, doing stupid things. And then, of course, I met a girl, as we all do, and she introduced me to pills, which, of course, led to other things. And we finally broke up, but the pills continued on. And as time went on, it got worse. And then I then met my wife that I know now. And as I did stop my pill addiction, and I wasn't really into it, she was an active user, but she was into cocaine and heroin. So because I was a seller of cocaine, I was like, I wonder, and I couldn't understand how she was making decisions based on this. So, curiosity killed the cat. And of course, I tried it, and down the rabbit hole I went, and here we are today, But, you learn a lot of things. I believe that everything happens for a reason, and I'm not going to say that I really, I'm appreciative of what happened, but I'm definitely, God works in mysterious ways. I've learned, I met a lot of people. I would have met you had that not happened. And this is a relationship that, I love. This is, I love my brother's relationship with you. There's a few other relationships that I met through, my sobriety that I cherish, and me and my wife, we have a very strong relationship. Even though she's still in active addiction, it's okay because, she sees me doing great things, me doing this podcast, me doing, me going to MCC, me trying to become a drug counselor and all these great things. And she can only just look at me and be like, I just want to be with you and follow along with you. Well, you got to, do better. And she wants to. So, that's all you really can want in another person that's in an active addiction. You just hope that they can come back on your side, So, but we're just going to be talking about amazing things, and I'm so excited that we finally got this going up up off the ground. We worked really hard to get here. You worked hard to get to where you're
I think what this is going to do, it's going to give people a platform to be able to tell their story. I think the more people that hear about this, and the more people that I just know all the people that I've told who are in addiction or recovering from addiction that have heard about this, their first thing is, yo, can I get on? And so there's so many people that are in a position where they want to tell their story, and all they need is an outlet to be able to tell that story. And so I believe we're just giving people that outlet to do it. And so that's really my hope and dream. I'm jumping a little into the future, what we're supposed to talk about today, but
I see the future.
we'll go in more depth about it, but I foresee us taking this even on the street and going back to Lyle and talking with people on the street who are in addiction. And so one thing we'll try our best to not say real names, things like that, just for people's privacy. Of course, if someone's on and they want to disclose their real name, that's on
completely people. Up to you.
Yeah, but we will not. So if we're telling a story or something like that, we'll change the person's name. Just to protect that confidentiality. We're gonna have people on that we won't talk about positions or where they work, things like that. Of course, unless they want to, we won't tell people how we met certain people. Because just some people might not want to be hey, I met this guy because I was smoking crack. If they just want to be talking about mental health.
I don't think you really want that person sometimes to know those things. Sometimes you
So we'll tell our part, what we are willing to tell, and then leave that for everybody else to decide what they want to tell. And so, what got me here was I was going to MCC and everything, and ended up getting hit by a car. Started going to Liberty University, and really became in love with the, I guess you could say, social service type of work, working at a homeless shelter, things like that. And so that's where I got that passion. I ended up becoming a student pastor, working with students, and even when I was doing that, I still had a heart to help homeless and addicts and things like that. But I never saw it from the other side. I just came from it of, I just want to help. Eventually, my wife and I separated, and we were talking about divorce, and so I ended up moving by myself, and still being a student pastor, and just I went downhill, and eventually I started smoking crack and everything, and stepped down from being a student pastor. Basically lost everything. Me, Kyle, his fiance or his wife, and her sister were all living out the car. It was crazy, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. One of my main goals in this is trying to figure out how to get, I'm trying to get their story and get them. That's what we're trying to do, is trying to get them to tell their story. Hopefully, one day we'll get to do that.
One day. And then the fam can be on here.
Keep going. I love hearing your story.
But that's how I actually got the nickname Preacher. Was one day I was sitting at a trap with the girl who I was waiting for, the girl who got me started smoking, and I was waiting to give her like clothes or something, and I wasn't smoking yet. This is still when I was a student pastor, and so I was sitting there, and one guy came out to get whatever I was giving to her, and he was like, "Hey, don't I know you from somewhere?" And he looked at me. He's like, "You're that preacher man from Open Door Mission." And so I was like, "Yeah, Preacher." And he's like, "Oh, Preacher." He's like, "I'll let everybody know." And he's like, I'll let her know. And so she texted me. I think she texted me. It was like, just like, "Preacher, huh?" And so I was like, okay. And when you go up, eventually it got to the point where she was like, "Yo, just come into the trap." And so when you go into a trap, you have to, "Who is it?" And so I walked up. "Who?" And I said, "Preacher?" And they're like, "All right, let him in." So ever since then, it was Preacher. So that's why I had, when I got off the street, April 18th, 2024, or April 13th, the day I set the smoke down. Still was living on the street for a little bit, but the day I set it down was April 13th. A couple days later is when I got off the street, and that's why I say, with how it ended, it's a shock that we are where we are right now, because I literally was like, "Yo, I'm done," and I dropped the 3 off, and I was like, "I hope you guys do good," and I left. Yeah. And then come to find out, this dude did something. I won't say what you did. I'll let you disclose that if you want. But he did something that really was the chain reaction to him sitting here today. And so the one thing back in, it was what, December or January?
I think it was in January.
It had to have been either late December, after certain individuals stole my car. It had to be after that. Like a week after that. So because when you think, and I was thinking about this the other day, I stepped down in January.
Yeah.
And I went to Colorado at the end of January.
Yeah.
Which means from the time that we started hanging out until I left, it was only like 3 weeks.
Yeah, it wasn't that long.
It wasn't that long. And so in between Christmas and when I left for Colorado, like the middle of January, I OD'd. And these three, what you said, 4 Narcans? Took four Narcans to bring me back. And that day I told them, I said, I'm gonna make sure you guys get out of this. And so when I had to leave in April, when I left in April and I left them sitting there, that broke me so much, because then I told them I'd get them out of here, and I'm just leaving them here. So to know that Kyle Scorpio is out and you're in recovery is like part of my recovery, and so it just shows that I did the right thing. So
you did.
But that's
different.
And so now we are here. That's a little backstory of us. You'll hear more as these episodes pan out. You'll hear more and more of our story and what we've gone through, just with the different guests and things like that. You guys are going to be like, wow, maybe I know a little bit too much about these people.
A little too much, because a little too much. You were like, I don't think I want them to share anymore.
So that's why we're here. That's why we do what we do. Like for now I'm getting a job as a peer support, youth support, helping things like that. And so I'm gonna love doing that. Is there struggle still? Absolutely. Like I'm dealing with stuff left and right. My car got repoed, figuring out how I'm gonna get to work. Like it's just one thing after another. And so just because we're in recovery doesn't mean things are going good. If anything, things are going bad, because we used to be able to, when something went bad, we used to be able to mask over that with substance, with chemicals. And now we're having to deal with all that by ourselves. Not by ourselves, but we're having to do it without trying to block it, which is a lot harder. A lot harder.
Yes, it is.
And so that's, I think, one thing I've learned, and I'll let you say after, one thing you've learned just from so far in this journey. Okay, I lied. We'll do 2 because I have a couple. One thing I learned is it's okay to not be okay. I used to, and you saw a little bit of this because it was when I was a student pastor. I like to pretend that everything's okay. Like if something was bad, I'd be like, yo, it's all good. We've got this, guys. It's fine. Nothing's gonna happen. And everything could be like falling down around. Be like, guys, it's okay. It's good. No, look behind you. The whole building's falling apart. Like
the house is on fire.
You don't have a house. It's okay. It's fine.
You're living in the car.
So like I had a huge problem before my addiction with pretending everything was okay. And all that does is you watch over the things that aren't okay, and you don't deal with the things that aren't okay. So I have learned it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to say, hey, I'm having a bad day. Hey, I have a problem, because that's where you can get help. That's where you can get freedom. So that's one thing that we're doing here is not a lot of people are still at that spot where they can be like, hey, I need help. But if there's something out here, because there's not many podcasts like this out here that do this. And so if there's something out there where people can look and be like, yo, I'm not the only one going through this, they may be more willing to drop something in the comment that says, hey, here I am. And then we'll notice, and we'll be able to take care of that. And so the beauty, and this is what I want, like I said, we're gonna have some guests on in the future, and I want to get connected to these different things, so when people reach out and they're like, yo, I need help, like, hey, I got you, contact this person right here. Like and not just be a place where we talk and like, oh, ha ha ha, laugh, but like be a place where people are like, I hear that
Like
story.
we
That's
can be
just
the middle ground for people
absolutely.
who need help. Yeah, yeah.
And that's one reason why people stay on the street, is because they don't know where to go get help.
This is true.
And then when people come around that haven't been there before, all they see is this person who has never been where I am trying to tell me how to get out. But if you have someone who has gotten out and comes back and says, yo, remember me? Oh yeah, I remember you, preacher. I have a way out. You don't have to stay here. And so that's what I want us to be, is not the savior, because there's only one savior, and his name's Jesus. But I want us to be an avenue, one of those billboards that point to places and points to where people can get help. But ultimately, at the end of the day, like, because I know you've been going to church lately. I've been working on getting my faith back, because I know my relationship with Christ has definitely gone downhill. So I'm working on getting that back. But like, ultimately pointing people to him, like, at the end of the day, because we can do everything we can do, but like without that, it fails. And so that's really what I've learned. I'll let you go ahead and say what you've learned, and then we'll just let people know. Let all you got amazing people listening. My thank you for huddling around the corner. Thank you for huddling in the corner.
Huddling in the corner.
You know what's funny? I always would be like, yo, no one puts Preacher in the corner, and I go and put myself right in the corner.
Yeah, sure did, yo. He used to say that a lot. Like, nobody puts Preacher in the corner, and now this is exactly how he named his whole life is now connected to this podcast, and it's called Preacher's Corner. It's amazing. But
it all came around full circle.
It always does. Always does. What did I learn? I learned a lot, but I think the main thing I learned is not to give up on people. I learned that even, everybody stumbles and everybody will fall, but just because someone stumbles and falls doesn't mean they're lost forever. That's crazy. You never give up on anybody. You may have to be patient. You may have to be aggressive. You may have to, be a little, keep that person at arm's length for some time. You may have to, in any aspect, you kind of have to really think about it. But each person is different, and sometimes you got to understand that, and, not one person is like, so sometimes you really have to, put that in account when you deal with people. So because of that, I've learned that I'm starting to understand that a lot more as my sobriety continues, and as I deal with a lot of people like that's in active addiction, that's in sobriety. Not everybody's gonna beat to your own drum, but that's okay. That's fine. That doesn't mean you can't help them. Doesn't mean you can't keep telling them, trying to push them and trying to help them into the right direction. You just can't give up on somebody just because it's hard. That's like that's how we got into addiction, because life was hard. Nobody can say my life was perfect and that's why I'm in addiction. No one says that. I was in perfect harmony and I just started smoking crack. That's not how that works.
Bro, like even if it's like a CEO of a big company, like he theoretically, like, his life could be perfect, but then he has an injury. It puts a kink in this perfect life now, and so nothing is truly perfect. And so I think that, as you were saying that made me think, like, anybody can, why we treat people the way you're talking about, why we don't turn our backs on people and things like that is because regardless of who it is, any of us could be susceptible to falling down any rabbit hole and going down any rabbit hole at any point in time. And so like that's one thing we talk about in sobriety is just like in recovery is like patience and humility and being humble. A lot of patience and a lot of humility, like, and being humble and not prideful and not thinking like, well, I have 3 years clean, thank you.
I got it.
Like, I have 3 years clean. I've got this. I can do it. I'm gonna have a drink. I'm gonna take a hit, and all of a sudden, boom, I'm right back, if not worse than what I was before. And so at any time, it can be anybody. So many people, and it could be at any point, anytime, anybody, past addict, non-addict ever, like it could be anybody. Like I never thought in a million years that I would have been smoking crack.
That's what sucks about the disease. It's the true, this is a disease that doesn't, it's not like, you can take medicine and it goes away. This is the only disease that's like
the only medicine you can take is that drug, because that's the only thing that keeps you going. Yeah, you literally have to forever. And you literally have to do something that like to stop it. You literally have to go through hell to stop it. And that's the thing. A lot of people who are on it don't have and I hate to say it this way, they don't have the grit or the determination to go through the hard. You have to be able to, the people that are able to come out of addiction are the ones who are like, you know what? Like, excuse my French, but fuck this. Like I need to come out of this.
That's because you have to be. I think that you have to be. So I think I agree with that, and I don't agree. I think sometimes you don't have the grit for it, but then that's where I come from. Where sometimes people kind of need help.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes,
but at the end of the day, you still need, because at the end of the day, it still is you. So whether someone's helping you to get to rehab or someone's helping you get to detox, whatnot, like it's still at the end of the day is about grit.
You got to get over the hump yourself. Yeah.
Did anybody help you get off sick? Like deal with the pain from being sick? No. You. No. The doctor, no doctor probably could come in and be like, "Hey, I got this that'll take the pain away." No, there's going to come a point where you have to deal with it. Just like when we talk about, and this is part of future plans, like going on the street and talking with current addicts, like, why are you here? What are you going through? 99.9% of them, you guys will see, those who are watching and continue to watch, you'll see people don't want to be there. But they, not only do they need help coming out, but then they have to have that grit, because there's things that they're going to have to deal with, like the root of it, in order to not go back. If you put a Band-Aid on it, you're going to become addicted again. You need to deal with the root. You need to deal with why did I have to turn to drugs? Why did I have to? Because drugs may not be the first thing. For me, I'd go to this girl before I went to the drugs. That's the reason why, one of the reasons why my wife and I are the way we are, because of how I did things. And so, like, and then if it wasn't drugs or it wasn't people, it was I'm on my Xbox all day, or I'm pouring into work, or it was always something that could get my mind away from feeling the pain I was feeling.
Yeah,
it was the army for a little bit, and so when you get rid of one, you're always going to have to replace it with something until you figure out what the source is. And like I said, we'll keep going back to this periodically, replacing it with Christ, like at the center of everything. And so that's like I when you talk about like that and treating each other with respect and not giving up on people, that's what I hear when you say that. It's just like it could be anybody, and because of that, we all need to have patience and humility, patience with each other, patience with ourselves, forgiveness, like mercy, grace, even when we have done things that we don't deserve to get mercy or grace from, because none of us have done anything, have not done anything in the eyes of God that deserve mercy or grace, but he still gives it to us anyways through what
That's
Jesus
true.
did on the cross. And so like it when I understood the gospel, I understood that Jesus died and things like that, but I didn't truly understand it until I needed grace, until I needed forgiveness. And so like that's just we're gonna you're gonna see more and more of that. Hear stories of redemption, hear of families coming back together.
Yeah.
Like I know a couple of the people that are coming on, just hearing how deep they got, and then hearing how they basically have gotten everything back. Like and that'll help people like me, like in Scorpio, like
I'm so
because
excited.
we're at that point right now, like in our lives, where we're having to pick up the pieces. They call it the wreckage of your past, like having to pick all that up, and we have nothing because we've lost everything. And so I was just thinking about this today, like in everything, I've maxed out credit card, like things like that, and now all this stuff that I helped build with my wife, like I've destroyed it. And it's no wonder like she wants to divorce. Like you screwed you screwed shit. That's so well like
Oh, I get it. I
like
get it.
and so I just like and I like look at like her and the kids and like things like that, like yo, you may have messed shit up on that side, but there's still shit I can do, and that's why like I'm putting everything I am to making sure that no, if people go through this, it's because they have made the conscious decision that I am still gonna use and I'm still gonna walk through, because I'm gonna make sure every freaking addict, I almost said the F word, but I'm gonna use freaking,
Oh,
every freaking addict hears that there's a way out. And so if they say no and they're still on the street and you're riding down Lyle and you see someone taking a hit, it's because they consciously made a decision, screw this side, I'm staying over here. Because I'm gonna make sure everybody knows. Because
we out here.
the shit's killing people. Like
Yeah.
it's like just going to see Kyle. Scorpio, I see like these people that we used to roll with, like and they look terrible.
Yeah, it's pretty sad now to watch. You know, when you go out now and you see some of the people, like I can honestly say, when I first moved out here, it's only been a year, bro. Like it's only been a year, and we came out here. There was like 30 of us when we came out here, and you know, people we had known. Dude, I can count on my fingers how many of us just died.
Yeah.
Whether they died from ODing, whether some of them died because of violence, some of them died because some of these dealers wanted to make examples, and unfortunately that's how it ended up turning into, like, you were an example, and or some people were just at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
And then that's unfortunate. It's like, people that these were kids. These weren't like, old, people that had lives, behind them. These are kids, dude, like 20, in their early 20s, like not late 20s. Like, it's like, whoa. And it's sad. It's real sad to see that. That's another reason. You asked me what I learned. I learned that, there's a reason why there's a reason why my sobriety is so important. There's a reason why I go to MCC and why, I take my drug counseling so serious. because I gotta help these people, like, in any way, shape, or form. You know, if it takes me until I'm 80 years old, you know, doing freaking intakes and trying to, you know, get one of these motherfuckers not to, you know, put that pipe to your mouth and not to put a needle in your arm, then it is what it is. Because these motherfuckers are trying to kill y'all niggas out here, and they don't give a.
He said mother flippers, by the way.
That's what I said. I'm sorry, but these people are crazy.
Remember, we're gonna be on YouTube.
Yeah, gotta watch the language. But we gotta be careful. We gotta be careful, and
that
it's
just
so
shows
dangerous.
though. This just shows though we're real. We're real.
Yeah, you know, because it's so serious, and I'm so excited now because there's so many people that have so many more amazing stories. That's why I can't wait to have other people in their stories, because
Yeah.
people in their different stories are going to be so amazing. I love to ask questions. So as soon as I hear somebody's story, I'm gonna pick their story apart and be like, "Oh, that was happening! Oh my god!" Because when you hear somebody else's story, it just brings, I don't know, it brings something out in you, because it's something that, you know, you've experienced your life and you may have seen other people's life, but to hear someone else's story and the passion that they put in their story is always different, you know, because there's emotion behind it. There's a whole bunch of other shit. There's a whole bunch of other things behind it, you know. So you have to respect that, you know, when you hear someone else's story. You learn that at AA, learn that. So I can't wait to hear other people's stories. It's going to be an amazing, you know, time doing this podcast, and it's going to keep getting better and better and better. So
absolutely,
you know, I can't wait.
No, definitely, and I'm so glad that one, that you're in recovery. Like it the one thing, like I told people, was one of the hardest things was letting him and his wife and her sister get out the car so I could go take care of myself. But as I said, seeing him right here, right now, like, just makes it all worth it to a point.
Right.
Like, we still need to get the other two, but we're in that process.
Working on it.
And so I'm excited. We're, like I said, we're gonna have a lot of different guests. We're gonna have opportunities for like everybody to be able to, if you want to get on, tell your story, and or if you are connected, like we may have a couple therapists on, things like that, just to say from their point, people who have worked with addicts and things like that. And so
that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, so I'm real excited on what can come from Preacher's Corner, and just to watch as lives are changed. Like, and of course we couldn't do any of this without Christ, and even given just the grace to be able to be out of addiction, and the freedom that comes with that. And so I'm excited. Can't wait to see the different guests we have. I'm in the process of, because this is recording, and so I'm in the process of, we are in the process of getting a couple episodes stacked, getting some people on here so that we can just put out boom, 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 and don't have to be like, we're gonna try to record by Friday.
Hopefully.
So hopefully, but us doing recordings and then saying, okay, we're going to get 6 stacked up, and then we'll start laying them out, and then that gives us time to still record as we're posting, to come out every week. And so I think we'll be posting on Fridays, and we'll call it Freedom Fridays. You like that, don't you?
I like it. I like it.
Preacher's Corner on Freedom Friday.
Freedom Friday, yes.
And so, and that just goes into our wanting to get people involved and tell their story. Like Freedom Friday, you tell your story. You tell your story about how you became free. And so
that's right.
So we're gonna do that. So be expecting a lot of stuff coming at you. We're excited. I know I'm excited. Again, I'm excited that you're doing this with me.
Of course.
And right now, I'm looking into how we can get sponsored, things like that. And there's this place called BetterHelp, and so BetterHelp isn't sponsoring us, but I know I've seen a lot of people sponsoring BetterHelp, and mental health is a real thing, and a lot of people deal with mental health, men, women, children. And so there's this website you can go to, betterhelp.com, and it's 24/7 therapist to match whatever you need. And so I'll put the link down in the description when we do post this video. Finally, betterhelp.com. Mental health's real. If you feel it, let somebody know. Remember, it's okay not to be okay. Sometimes you need a day to feel it. And so if you don't have a therapist, go check out betterhelp.com. Again, link will be in the description. But that is all for today. Next week, this is talking about whoever's watching this. The next episode, bing bing, will be will be a special guest. I don't know when this dude. Hold on. When this dude, there we go. When this dude is gonna be ready to record again, but we're gonna get it all worked out.
I'm always ready. Don't let him fool you. I'm always ready.
So I have a list of different people who have already said they want to be on this, and I'm sure that list is going to keep growing. So I'm going to start giving people dates and times. We're going to start getting these episodes brought out. It's going to be awesome.
You say something now.
I didn't know what I wanted to say. So we're going to get these episodes out. It's going to be awesome.
I can't wait.
And thank you guys for being whoever's watching first as this dropped. Thank you for being the first people to check out Preacher's Corner. And I believe that this is going to do amazing things, especially with the field that both Kyle and I are going into.
Thank you for being here with the adventure started.
So I'm in the process of writing about. I could keep going. We don't want this to be long. So it's already 42 minutes. So we'll definitely be back next week. And there'll be a special guest next week. I don't know who it is because I don't know who's gonna finally do an interview or not. So whoever we interview next is gonna be on next episode. Or whoever I deem to be second on the second episode. But I know I have an idea of who I want to be the closer for this season. And so their story is amazing. So I'm hoping I can get this person, and we'll see where things go. But that is all we have today. Kyle, do you have anything for them? Any closers?
I am so excited for everyone. Thank you for being a part of this great adventure. It's gonna be amazing, and bless everybody. And thank you so much for being here, guys. This is gonna be an amazing adventure. Thank you so much.
And I think what's cool is everybody's coming into this right at the beginning of our recovery, and so.
Yeah.
So people are going to be able to walk through our recovery with us as well. Like this is awesome. So thank you, everybody. If you like this, you definitely need to hit like. Let YouTube know, keep us around. That'll help. And then go ahead and subscribe, and then click that bell so that you can be notified every time that we upload a new video. But we are so grateful for you guys, and we'll see you guys next week. But until then, always remember to take care of yourselves, or love yourselves, love others, but most of all, love the big man upstairs. Peace.
Peace, love, happiness.